Welcome to the Global Entrepreneurship Curriculum. Today will be the first session on cultural frameworks. By the end of the session, you should be able to define culture and its importance to global business, as well as apply cultural dimensions to increase your understanding of various business practices. The vocabulary for the session includes culture, values, traits, customs, morals, entrepreneur, international business, global entrepreneurship, stereotypes, prototypes, generalizations, prejudices, importing, exporting, and global economy. Cultures are defined by the values, customs, traits, and morals that are shared by people in a given society. An entrepreneur identifies opportunities and unmet needs, allocates resources, and creates values while assuming risk of a new venture. International business involves engaging in business across international borders. Therefore, global entrepreneurship combines facets of both entrepreneurship and international business. People who decide to do business in other countries are participating in global entrepreneurship. Anytime we create a website, for instance, that is viewed by potentially customers in different countries, we are participating in global entrepreneurship. Global entrepreneurship is a new and increasingly important way for small business owners to expand their businesses in different countries. As global entrepreneurs identify opportunities and fulfill unmet needs, they need to be culturally sensitive to the cultural dimensions of other countries where these new businesses are developed. But why is culture so important? Culture gives us a unique yet basic understanding on how to deal with people from other countries. There are three major trends contributing to the importance of global entrepreneurship. Number one, the globalization of markets, which involves free trade agreements with other countries that has led to more international trade. Number two, intercultural workforce with greater diversity in the workplace. And number three, technological advancements, which have increased the ease of communicating and meeting with people from different countries. Coca-Cola is a real-world example on how these three trends apply. In Coca-Cola, the globalization of markets has made new factories and different sectors of the company in other countries, such as China or Europe. The intercultural workforce of Coca-Cola means that there's diversity in the workplace, and people need to be culturally sensitive to those from other countries. In addition, technological advancements from China or Canada has made Coca-Cola a more efficient company. The first aspect of cultural dimensions is context. Context is defined as the background information surrounding an event. Yet, in reference to culture, there's a low context and high context. A low context culture prefers direct verbal communication and involves the less proficiency in reading nonverbal cues. High context cultures prefer indirect verbal communication and are proficient in reading nonverbal cues. On the screen, you will see a spectrum of different countries and how they fall into a high and low context standard. On the extreme right, you will see countries from a high context, such as Japanese, Arabians, and Chinese. On the extreme left are those from a low context culture, such as the German and North American. Individualism also plays a role in cultural dimensions. A low context culture values independence and personal responsibility, while a high context culture values collective group and the family structure. Therefore, individualism applies stronger to those from a low context culture.
Characteristics of culture. Culture is learned. We get it in school and in our family. Culture is also the basis of our community, and it is a distinctive seal that we all have. Cultural ethics. We are going to be using terms as prototype and generalization in this module, and we are going to avoid using terms as stereotypes and prejudice, just for a better understanding. Cultural proverbs. I will share some with you. A Japanese proverb says, "A wise man hears one and understands 10. This means that we are all similar in essence, and when somebody experiences happiness, we all understand it. A German proverb says, "No one is either too rich or too poor who has not helped himself to be so." This means that you control your own destiny. Cultural dimensions. On the slide, we are going to see an overview of the 5 key components to understand an intercultural perspective. These components are context, individualism, formality, communication style, and time orientation. Formality. There are 3 levels in formality: tradition, ceremony, and social rules. Let's take the example of an Indian marriage. For tradition, will be important that the horoscopes of the bride and the groom match. For the ceremony, the marriage will be really elaborated. There will be dancing, music, and a lot of food. For the social rules, people attending the ceremony will be bringing gifts to the bride and the groom. Communication styles. We have 2 levels in communication styles: the low context and the high context. The low context is literal, is goal-oriented, and is direct. A good example of this is the American culture. The high context has features like being vague, being indirect, and being flexible. A good example for the high context culture is the South American culture, because they will speak with poetic figures of speech. Time orientation. Low content culture have characteristics as productivity, efficiency, and money, whereas high content cultures have features as unlimited and never-end resource. Cultural proficiency. Patience and flexibility are necessary ingredients for a better understanding of cultures. Thank you.